I thought I'd record a podcast episode today because I haven't done one for a while. Again, I haven't planned anything because I'm trying this new thing where I just come on and spontaneously talk. But I do have an idea of what I want to talk about, which is alcoholism. And it's a weird one to talk about. Since I've had a bit of a problem with alcohol, I've worried about talking about it because for various reasons, I don't want people to jump on it and say, you've admitted you've got a problem. And at the same time, I don't want people to think, oh, God, she's making out she's got a problem with alcohol. It's just in the lockdowns, I started drinking a lot and every day. So for about a year minimum, I was drinking every day. And I've just struggled to get out the habit of it since the lockdowns have eased and everything. I think part of it is because I was in hospital for such a long time. I was in hospital for the first time for 3 weeks, and it was voluntary. I wasn't sectioned at that time, and I had this breakdown, and my parents got someone around to the house. I don't know who they rang, the doctors, the hospital. They must have rang someone. I think I was down for an assessment or something, and they just got that person to come quickly, and someone was in the house, and they said, look, either you go voluntary or you're going to be sectioned. So obviously I went willingly, and it was much better that time than the time I was sectioned, because you have more privileges when you're voluntary. There's a lot of stuff you're not allowed to have. Like, you can take stuff in, but obviously a charger, anything can be used, like anything that can be used to harm yourself or strangle yourself or kill yourself, you have to be watched with it, or you're not allowed it. So I just wanted my pens so I could write, my notebooks so I could write, my headphones so I could listen to music. And obviously everyone's sharing stuff, everyone's trying to look after each other, sort of, but also not interfere, get in each other's personal space. It's a weird atmosphere on a psychiatric ward, because you do have to remember to separate the person from the illness. There was a woman in the room next to me, and she was quite loud at night times, and I couldn't sleep anyway, so I don't think it was her fault after all. I couldn't sleep for about 3 nights in a row. I think it's because you're so wired with the psychosis. But I moved rooms, and then she came up to me the next day and she gave me some of her pizza, and it was so sweet. And I just thought, she isn't the person that's like shouting at night and screaming. She's that person who's kind to me and offered me pizza. So I always try and separate the person from the illness, because I saw a quote once that said, once you have mental illness, everything you do will be put under that umbrella and blamed. It'll be like, oh, it's because you're crazy. No, I'm not always crazy. Yes, sometimes I'm crazy, but sometimes I'm the one saying the rational thing and everybody else is ignoring it and saying irrational things. So that really annoys me. But yeah, so I've had a little problem with alcohol for a while. I've been trying for the past week or so making mocktails. So I'm having one right now while I record this. Basically just mixing a fizzy juice with a cordial or something. But they taste quite nice. I like giving them names. And obviously it's better than drinking, because the damage, everyone knows the damage alcohol can do. I think we all ignore it. We live in a country in the UK where there's this big drinking culture, and it's so easy to get to excuse your drinking, to get swept up in it. I know me and my friends, like, as much as we love each other and as much as we care about each other, we do sort of enable each other with our drinking sometimes. It's like, oh, I'll turn a blind eye to yours, you turn a blind eye to mine. So I think that's something that I really want to work on. And I'm allowed 3 drinking days a week, and that sounds like a weird thing to say at the age of 25, is like, I'm allowed. And if I say that to anybody, like on dates or stuff, they're like, who's allowing you? Like, who's regulating your drinking then? And by allowed, I mean my nurse, because I'm under the peer team for psychosis. So she's the one who said we should probably try and keep it to 3 days a week. And I'm allowed to pick any day. So it could be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but it's better to spread it out, really. And I like to save one for the weekend. But then I normally don't drink on Sunday. So by the time it gets to Monday, I want to drink. So I normally drink on Monday. So I drank Monday. But yeah, I don't know what it is, because I don't even particularly like the taste of alcohol. I think I always say it takes the edge off. But it's not like I live a particularly difficult life. So I don't know what I mean by that. I think I got given a difficult brain. I do think that, because it's caused me no end of problems over the years. I think I've talked about most of my mental illnesses in great length, either through writing about them in books or blogs or podcasts or Instagram posts. I'm a very excessive person, so I don't do things just like, people tell me less is more, and I'm like, no, more is more. And to me that makes sense. But then I'll get to a point where I'm like, hang on, you have gone a bit too far, like you need to rein it in. So like my Instagram, for example, I'm gonna go through that soon and try and delete some stuff and cut it down, because I can do 8 posts a day. I can do 10 posts a day, like without blinking, and I don't find that difficult. I don't know where it's come from, because when I was younger I was quite quiet. I had social anxiety when I was 14. So there was the anorexia, that was 12 to 16, and the social anxiety sort of coincided at about 14. And I was very awkward and very shy, and I'd struggle to get through a conversation with people. I couldn't look people in the eye. I could only talk to girls, because it was boys that had teased me originally, so they triggered my trauma and my eating disorder. And boys were the devil. Girls were a safe place. It's all very complicated. I'll probably delve into that another time, because it's best just to keep to one topic for this episode. So I'll stick with alcohol. I would say, if you think that any of this relates to you and you think you might have a problem, tell someone, ask for help. I don't know any alcohol helplines off by heart, but I do know Samaritans, which is 116 123. I personally have never used it, but I just know it off by heart because I always put it at the end of my posts, because I just think there's someone out there who might need it, and it's a good one that covers a lot of things. So that's Samaritans. And don't feel uncool for needing to take a break from alcohol, and maybe being the person on the night out who doesn't have a drink, or maybe not even going on the night out because it's too difficult to not have a drink, because no one wants to be the only sober one. I've been on nights out sober when I was ill, and I felt like I couldn't drink because my body wasn't working properly, and I didn't want to put poison in it at that point in time. And a night out sober when everybody around you is drunk is difficult, because drunk people are annoying, and they're even more annoying when you're sober. So I wouldn't recommend it, but it's doable, and people lead happy and healthy lives and fulfilled lives without alcohol. If it's become a bit of a crutch to you, then I can relate, and it will get easier. Everything gets easier with time, and coping strategies and therapy and all of those things. So I think the lockdowns affected everyone in different ways, but they definitely took a toll on everyone's mental health. So yeah, and I think because I came out of hospital straight into a lockdown, the last time I was in hospital was for depression. So the time that I was sectioned was for psychosis, and that was for about 8 weeks. And for the first month, I didn't leave the ward. I didn't go for walks. I didn't go out for leave. You get leave, so you can go to the cinema, or you can go for a meal, or you can go home. I didn't get any of that for the first month because I was so unwell. Not because they were like punishing me or anything, but just because they couldn't trust me to not hurt myself or not hurt other people inadvertently or anything, so they couldn't let me out of their sight, really. But then the third time I was hospitalised, and the last time, was just before the lockdown, and that was for depression. So I just think sometimes I try and portray only the good stuff on social media, even the mental health side. Like, I'll try and polish it up a bit, or make it seem like I'm a mental health advocate, or make it seem like I've come out the other side, or make it sound good, or like, it's never like, I feel really down today, I've got no money, I'm not allowed to drink today, or I can drink but then I've wasted a drinking day. Yes, I have drinking days. I'm 25, I haven't got a job. Like, it's never the really bad stuff that makes me depressed and landed me in hospital. So just remember that nobody's life is perfect, and there's always people out there who care about you, even if you don't know them and they don't know you. There's always someone who would rather hear your story than hear that something terrible had happened to you. So just hang in there. That's it for today. Thank you for listening.